Welcome, students. Today we are going to start a new chapter from English course book, that is Thunder and Nancy Myths in Wall Culture. Okay, so it is actually an African folk tale about a trickster. Okay, trickster is a person who does a lot of tricks. Okay, so what is folktale mean? It's the story originating in a popular culture, typically passed on by the words of mouth. So it's a story originating in a popular culture. Okay, like in our Nepali we have Home Jaiga. Okay, same way in Africa, this is an African folktale. Okay, a story originating in popular culture, typically passed on by word of mouth. Okay, so folk tales are stories with morals. So it also is this is the type of story with morals, which gives you uh, which gives you which gives you knowledge, which encourages you, which motivates you, and also sometimes makes you laugh. Okay, so this is the uh, flock stories. Okay, and from where you get a knowledge. Okay, so this type of stories are the stories with morals. Okay, they are passed on orally from one generation to next generation. So they are passed on orally from one generation to next generation. Okay, flock tales vary from region to region and from an integral part of culture. So this type of flock tales varies from region to region, and it also is an integral part of the culture. Okay, so this is all about the flock tales. And coming to the story Thunder and Nancy. Nancy is a popular character and a great trickster in several West African flock tales. Okay, so Nancy is a popular character. So this Nancy is very popular character, as in Nepali we are very familiar with Homja. Same way this Nancy is very popular in Africa. Okay, and he is a great trickster in several West African folk tales. Okay, the word Nancy means spider in Twi. Okay, and the language of Ghana, a West African country. So the word Nancy means spider in Twi. Okay, and the language of Ghana, a West African country. Okay, this is because in some stories Nancy can change himself into spider. So why he was named so? Because in some stories Nancy can change himself into the spider. Okay, so read the story where he tries to trick his family, although without discussing as a spider. So in the story is all about how this trickster, how this Nancy has tricked his family, although without discussing as a spider. Also, all discussing means without changing and as a spider. Okay, so let's get started with the story. Okay, there had been a long and severe famine in the land where Nancy lived. Okay, so there had been a long and severe famine. Famine means extreme scarcity for food. Okay, so there was a famine in the land where Nancy used to live. Okay, somewhere in Africa. Okay, he had been unable to obtain food for his poor family as there was famine. So he was very unable to obtain food for his family. Okay, so one day, grazing out to sea, one day he was out, okay, to in search of food near the sea. he saw a tiny island. So he saw a tiny island. So when he was searching for the food, okay, he saw a tiny island with a tall palm tree on it. So it so when one day when he was out in search of food, he saw a tiny island with a tall palm tree on it. Okay, so there was one tree, a tall palm tree in that island. Okay, so he determined to reach the tree and pluck nuts from it. So now when he saw the tree on that island, he wanted to go to that tree and pluck the nuts, okay, from it. But he did not know how to get there. But he had no idea how to go to that island. Okay. Palm tree grows in hot climates. There are over 200 varieties of plant palm tree. Okay, so this type of tree usually grows in hot climates. Okay, so when this Nancy saw palm tree in a tiny island, he wanted to go there and pluck some nuts from it so that he can feed himself and his family. Okay, and he wanted to go there, but he had no idea how to go to that island. Okay, so when Nancy reached the beach, he saw an old broken boat. So when he was searching for an idea to go to that island, so suddenly he saw a broken boat nearby the beach. Okay, near the beach. Okay, so it did not look very strong. So it was not so strong boat, but he thought of going in to the island with in that boat. Okay, but Nancy decided to try it. So he decided to try to go to that island in that boat because he had no other option left. Okay, he had to get some food for his family and himself. He first 6 attempts were unsuccessful. So he was attempting to go to that island, okay, in the boat, but he made 6 attempts, but he was unsuccessful. But at last the seventh time he was successful. Okay, he rowed the old boat to the island and reached the palm tree. So he rowed that old boat, okay, to the island, and he reached that island, and he also reached near the palm tree. Okay, so when he reached that island, he first tied the boat to the trunk of the tree and he started climbing towards the knot. Okay, blocking all he could reach, he dropped them down into the boat. So he climbed up the tree and he started breaking the nuts and plucking all he plucked all the nuts. Okay, and he dropped them down into the boat and he started throwing into the boat. Alas, everyone missed the boat and fell into the water. Okay, so but when he was plucking the knot and throwing into the boat, what happened? Alas, what happened? It missed the boat and it fell into the water. Okay, until the last one remained. So he was plucking and throwing into the boat, but what happened? His effort all went in vain because all the nuts went into the water. Okay, until the last one, and there was the last one remaining, and this he aimed, okay, even more carefully than the others, but it also fell into the but last one also fell into the water. Okay, and he had not tasted even one, and now all were gone. So now he had not tasted one nut also, and all his effort were in vain, as all the nuts whatever he had plucked in went into the water. Okay, So Nancy could not bear the thought of going home empty-handed. So now, all the nuts went into the water, and so he was very sad now. Okay, his all effort went in vain. Okay, so Nancy could not bear the thought he that of going home empty-handed. So as all his family were hungry due to suffering due to famine, he had nothing to feed his family, and at last he had got the last option, that was the to this nuts. Okay, that was this knot. He could take those knots to and at home, and he could have fed to his family, but his all attempt went in vain. Okay, and he could not bear that thought of going home empty handed, so he jumped into the water. So he 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 could not bear that thought, and he wanted to commit suicide. So in committing suicide, he jumped into the water too. Okay, but to his astonishment, instead of being drowned, he found himself standing on the seabed in front of the little cottage. But what happened, he wanted to commit suicide, and he committed suicide also by jumping into the water. But to his astonishment means a feeling of very great surprise. Okay, but to his surprise, instead of being drowned, instead of being drowned, what happened, he found himself standing on the seabed. Seabed means in the floor of the ocean or sea. Okay, in front of the little cottage. So there was a little cottage. Okay, you can see in the picture in your book. Okay, from the cottage emerged an old man. This Nancy committed suicide, but to his astonishment, he found himself in the seabed. Okay, alive. Okay, and he was in front of the little cottage. Okay, so from that cottage emerged an old man, and he asked Nancy what he wanted so badly that he had come to Thunder's cottage. So who was that old man? That old man was a Thunder. Okay, so this old man asked Nancy what he wanted so badly that he came to Thunder's cottage to get it. Okay, Nancy told him his sad story. So Nancy told all his sad story to this old man, and Thunder was most sympathetic. So this Thunder was very kind-hearted, and he showed his kindness towards this man. Okay, and he also thought of helping this man. Okay, so he went into the cottage and brought a cooking pot. So this Thunder went inside his cottage and brought a cooking pot. Okay, and he presented it to Nancy. So this old man wanted to help Nancy, and he gave him the cooking pot, and he presented it to Nancy, telling him that he would never be hungry again. So this old man, the Thunder, uh, gave uh, gave this Nancy a type of a magic pot. Okay, from where he can get a food. Okay, so he presented to a Nancy, telling him that he would never be hungry again. Okay, the pot would always supply enough food. So what he used to get from the pot, what he will be getting from the pot, the pot would always supply enough food for him and his family. Okay, this Thunder told. Okay, and Nancy was most grateful. So Nancy was very grateful to this man, because in this situation, in this uh, bad situation, okay, in his bad time, this man helped Nancy. Okay, so he left Thunder with many thanks. So he from the bottom of his heart, he thanked this old man. Okay, for the magic pot, from where this Nancy is getting a supply of food for him and his family. Okay, so my dear students, we'll stop here for today. Okay, so in my second part of video, I'll be continuing with this chapter. Okay, so till then, stay home, stay safe, and have a nice day.